Hi, my name is Brandon, and over the past year, the Delight Cafe team and I have traveled across the U.S. researching this rapidly growing industry of CBD products. What we have found throughout the industry were products that were inconsistent in dosage and used ingredients that weren't even lab tested. Products with chalky textures, bitter aftertaste, and worst of all, confusion among the CBD consumers. That's why we created Delight Cafe. A 15 milligram lab-tested, all-natural, water-soluble hemp CBD powder pack. It's odorless, colorless, and tasteless. Add it to your favorite drink of choice, wherever, whenever, on the go. Quickly find your calm, your balance, and your delight when you need it most.
Good morning. Good morning. Java Delight will uplift you. Stay tuned. The show is about to begin. Grab your coffee. Stay tuned. This show is about to begin.
Hi, my name is Gavin Kerr.
My name is Brandon Croucher.
And you're watching Java Delight.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell.
Enjoy the show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all Gavins. Thank you for tuning in today. Gavin's like, wait, what? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the next episode of Java Delight, the shot of Java. They give you energy throughout the morning with a little bit of delight that Gavin always brings us with his wonderful smile. Mr. Gavin Kerr, I am Brandon Croucher. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
A lot more energy now that we're live on air. I'm going to be like, woohoo, you know?
Yeah. I keep getting notifications. There we go.
I was like, mine just bumped up too. I had like 3 pop up. Did you?
Yeah. I had the one pop up on my screen, so I was trying to click it away. No, I'm doing well. Still waking up a bit. I got some food in me, nice tall glass of water, so I'm starting to get powered up.
Same here. Do you ever put anything in your water? Like, I love Mio. That's just my thing. I like to have like a tea, a Mio. I can't drink straight water.
I do tea. I love straight. I'll just drink water as is, but
it never gets boring.
No,
it never. Really? Like, how many glasses do you think you drink a day?
A day? I'd say probably 8 to 10.
See, 8 to 10 glasses a day is normal. It's what you should be drinking, which I think is good. But like by glass 4, I'm like, I need a little bit of flavor, just something. Even if I squirt a lemon in there just to get it moving, it's like I need a tiny bit of flavor. Yeah, I don't know. That's just what I like. That's just how
I get it. I got a lot of friends who hate water, and that always. Yeah, that weirds me out. I don't know why. Like, I don't know how you could hate water. It's the it gives life to everything.
That between the water and the sun, like,
yeah,
you know, that's how we're here.
Vampires, all of you.
My dad doesn't like water. It's actually interesting to hear how much he. Hello, Lena. I love to see you here. She's been such a sweetheart. She's drink 24 every day. Wow. Mike Herzog, I know you're drinking water because I hang out with you enough. Sherry McQueen, you are amazing. Jessica Dugas most likely won't be popping in today, but if she does, it's going to be a wonderful surprise. I know personally Jessica has been hurting like for weeks now. She's been down, she's been out, she's been in pain. So my positive affirmation, my gratitude for today is Jessica Dugas showing up. She literally is still coming in. She's making sure to at least make comments. And I'll tell you this, guys. I talked to her yesterday for maybe 10 minutes. Her and Phil on the phone. They have a lot going on. I mean, you have 700 kids.
Yeah.
But she, at the same point, she's doing her best to hang in there. They were at the doctor again yesterday. A Big D Phil is literally becoming like the nurse of the year. I heard his little, he looks like the Joker running around in his little nurse's outfit. Sexy as hell. And we all know how Big D is. And from there, she's really hurting. Like, she and I talked yesterday, and for within 5 minutes after the show, you saw Jessica's energy just go. And I was on with her, and she's just like, Brandon, I need to go lay down. I'm like, go. Please. 752. She had 2 more kids while we're on air. Congrats, Jessica. What are their names? Is it like Big D1 and Big D2, thing 1, thing 2? Like, how do you call your kids?
I feel like it would get to a point where once you have so many kids, you just stop celebrating. You're just like, there's another one.
Jessica's at 6. So does that mean if she has a 7th kid, that's the final one that they love? And
I think it's after like double digits. Like, once you hit double digits, it's like, again, we just reset the clock.
753, 754, 756. Guys, and then my favorite, what do you name your kids? Java, Delight. Java and Delight.
Oh.
Cracks me up. Well, we are glad you're here, Jessica. I know you're probably laying in bed, being able to take care of yourself and getting healthy. Please keep doing that. Guys, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and share button. We know everybody tells you that, but the difference is we actually want to build the community with you guys. We actually want to see the change in this world, just like you. So, Devin, tell me more about your day, buddy. I'm sorry. I leaned forwards, too. I meant to lean back, but my chair leaned, and I just went with it. I apologize. I was right in your ear, too. But, tell me, what are you up to this evening? Any fun plans?
Right after the show, I'm going around with my boss for DJing, DJ Evan. We're going to go around, and we're going to post flyers up for promoting the shows around the college campus areas and then some of the Tri-City areas. Gonna go and talk to some more bars and just do some hunting for some more shows right now. So I got that going on. I'm gonna try to get this house clean because it's atrocious. And it's
I thought you've been cleaning the house for a week.
I have been cleaning the house, but the way that I've been cleaning the house is I've been taking everything out of these rooms so I can clean the individual rooms. So now the center of the house is a mess.
Yeah.
So I'm shifting and reorganizing things around. And then the dog brought in a piece of wood from my wood pile, and it's all over the carpets. And I'm pretty sure the vacuum cleaner's broken. So I have to contemplate if I'm going to strangle him before or after I get a new vacuum.
Do you need the new vacuum, or can you sweep it and then get one of those shark vacuums that are only $30, and you're able to be like, shh.
No, the rug needs vacuum. The wood
it
is
needs
all
a deep one.
Yeah. The wood is all saturated in the carpet.
Nah.
So it's mostly cleaning stuff like that. But then tonight I'm gonna make that salmon. I'm gonna make myself a nice salmon dinner with some grilled asparagus and homemade mashed potatoes. So I'm happy about that. Oh, you're making salmon? Nice.
I'm making salmon with asparagus tonight, but my asparagus is diced up. It's going to be cold, and I'm actually making a kale salad with mango.
I have kale salad.
Dude, kale's so good for you. It's so healthy. Dude.
I know it is, but I just and I know a lot of vegans and vegetarians. I've never known anybody to eat kale salads as much as you do.
So I owned a vegan restaurant, and at that point, I was not completely in love with veganism. I still love cheese. And I love cheese. Cheese and eggs are honestly bigger than meat.
What's your favorite kind of cheese?
Oh, I don't know. What the heck? All right, we both got the same notification. I saw it. I have to be honest. A favorite, guys. What's your favorite kind of cheese? Everybody loves cheese, and I'm gonna answer for Jessica Duke. Is vegan cheese? Okay, good. So vegan cheese is good, but like, I have to be honest. There's times where sharp cheddar is just and then there's times where you're like, oh, Gouda is so Gouda, and then you have times where you're like. It depends on what I'm eating. Like, dude, feta cheese on top of a kale salad, as weird as that sounds, you take a lemon, half a lemon, squeeze it on the kale. Literally, I didn't speak for you. I just spoke for what I thought you would say. I didn't say this is what Jessica said. I said this is what Jessica might say. But she eats feta cheese on this salad. Now, kale is like a very hard textural thing. So you take a lemon, cut it in half, squirt it on top of it, then to provolone cheese. Oh,
that's a good one.
That is like amazing on like a burger.
You ever been to Cheese Haven?
I have. Yes. Have you ever been to Grandpa's Cheese? Have you ever been to Grandpa's Cheese Barn?
I've not. I've heard so much about it, but I've yet to go there.
That's gonna be on our list. All right. So you're gonna go run around and like hand flyers out to college kids today, right?
Yeah, posting them and stuff.
I want you to send an email that we want to interview Grandpa's Cheese Barn because we love cheese. And have it, and then you and I will take a trip because it's not that far down. You and I can get down there with ease, and we will literally go down and do a show at Grandpa's Cheese Barn. That's on your. I'm putting that on your plate. All right.
That's fine. Yeah, we can do that because I gotta schedule a date there anyway.
Who?
A pretty blonde girl or a pretty girl with short blonde hair who longs for death that I've been talking to for a couple weeks.
We're not going to use her name.
No, I don't know. I don't know if she'd be all right with me using her name. I don't know if that's like too big of a step.
Yep. Don't use her name. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, but we'll just call her your friend right now. How's that?
Yeah.
Mike, yes, I plan to interview the barn itself. I heard it got a new shade of red painted on it, so I'm really interested in that, and I want to know how they make different cheeses in there. Have you ever gone to Amish country?
Yeah, that's actually a place where she and I have a date. We're going to go to Amish country.
All right, time out. I do know one of your dates coming up, and it is fucking adorable. Yes, I used my F word already.
Yeah.
It's fine with me. I barely used it yesterday. With that, Gavin, tell everybody about this drive-in movie date you want to plan. This was adorable.
I can't say it because if she is watching, I told her that I'm picking her up, and she said, I think we should take my car. And I said, no, I insist, because she doesn't know the surprise that I'm trying to get in order. So that will have to wait.
So, okay, heard.
Yeah.
So when you do it, I need you to. Is this coming up this weekend? Because I knew you were trying to get it soon.
Whenever she gets back from her trip right now.
Heard. So
yeah,
I can't say anything out of respect for Gavin, but the truth is he has a really, really, really sweet idea planned. He's excited for it, and I'm gonna make him take a bunch of pictures and stream the whole thing pretty much. Like just where he's going. The late night stuff when he's in his bedroom and they're like about to that's when the camera turns off. Okay? Don't get your perverted minds up. Jeez Louise, I saw you change your face there.
Not doing that. Maybe like a picture or two for like me and her, but I'm not really a big
I don't send dick pics. No girl wants a dick pic. Yep, see?
Fuck.
See? Did you I saw what you sent me last night. I just accidentally assumed you were sending it to me. I didn't know why I was getting that.
Anyway, I'm not really about posting dates or things like that.
No, it's not the date. You're posting what you're doing. Good Lord, you're young. So you're posting what you're doing and showing what you're doing. Because remember how you planned what you were going to wear and all that other stuff?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And then where you're going, the significance of it, a lot of people will love what you're doing. That's why I'm saying you have to not stream it. Don't do that live stream or TikTok.
I had no intention on streaming it.
Yeah.
I'm confused though, so
just pictures of your date and where you are and what you're doing with it. Like
I don't know, it's not my cup of tea. That's not how.
That's not what I asked. I didn't ask that. I just told you you're going to, especially for the show, because what you're going to wear is absolutely adorable, and what you're planning. It only needs to be like 2 pictures, dude. One at the beginning. One to I'm going to say her name because I know who it is, and I knew her before you did.
You don't even know her name properly.
I don't. It's because I was told
can't even really say her name.
I was told everything wrong about this person before I ever met her.
Yeah.
Like Gavin goes, "Hey, I just made a friend online," and he's like, "She's really pretty," and he shows me her picture. I'm like, "Yeah, she used to work for one of my restaurants," and he's like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, I don't like that scenario. And he's like, "Why?" I'm like, I was told she was 18 and in college. She was 14 and in college way early. I was told her name is not Esther or Astoria or whatever the fuck it is. It has all these other things. I was given this horrible thing, and I called her the wrong name for like a year. And then her brother one day pulls me aside and goes, "Her name's this." But everything I was told about this girl was wrong. And so Gavin matches with her randomly 7 to 10 years after I was her boss. And he's like, "Oh, you know her?" And I pull her up on Facebook. I'm like, "Yeah, see, I told you I did." And he goes, "Wow." And then he goes on a date with her, and now they're like best friends. And honestly, my mom even said the other day when you were helping out with stuff, she goes, "He's really into this girl. Like really?" And I'm like, "I know. You can see it." She's like, "Yeah." Like, he's like booming with excitement. I'm like, "I know. I love it. It's fun to watch Gavin like fall." Ooh, Brandon, do tell. They want me to tell more about it, but I promise Gavin I won't.
You could tell, but it's probably the wrong information.
Right, you probably gave me the wrong information, just like everybody did with her. See, it's a good thing I'm not on today. Brandon uses everyone's F word, and I won't get one of my own. I have only used one F word so far, and because you fucking did that, Jessica, I'm taking yours right there. So tonight, Gavin's. You don't have a show tonight? I thought you had a karaoke tonight.
No, it's Tuesday.
Oh, my date. You want to know about my date? I did have a... I didn't know I was on a date the other day, but apparently I was. My friends had to tell me that girl thinks she's on a date with you. And Brandon's Potty Mouth is the name of my new band. Can we have like my mouth?
That sounds like a good punk name.
It does. It's just my mouth open and there's like a toilet seat over my face. I'd be all about that.
Yeah.
That's 3. Keep it going, B. So, totally lost my question because of that comment.
Actually, I like the idea of you wearing like a suit and then a toilet seat, like a little one, as a handlebar mustache. Brandon's Potty Mouth.
I like that.
Yeah.
I do. Oh my God, Brandon keeps having dates with the big D over the phone, and we do. Him and I just make each other laugh. Phil is hysterical, and the best part is I'll say a joke, like to Gavin on the phone, and then I'll tell Jessica something, and I'll hear Phil in the background. He makes the exact same joke as me without us ever knowing we both have it. Like, I even say that, I'm like, that's funny as hell. So, Gavin, you are a good man. You look like you're right there. So today we are going to have some fun. We have a wonderful guest on. Guys, you're going to want to stay tuned. His name is Matt Franklin. He is a serial entrepreneur from Portland, Oregon. But here's the best thing. He is a one-man video production company since 2006, and he's a part-time product developer. His most successful product landed him in Shark Tank Season 4. What's that? Yeah, a Shark Tank Season 4. Guess what, guys? Gavin's doing the pitch today. We're going to make this delight tank, and Gavin has to sell something. We don't know what yet, to him and get him to invest in it. Sound good, Gavin?
Okay.
All right, so you're going to sell this used candle. Okay? You got to get him to invest. No, you don't have to do that. I'm just playing with you.
I was going to grab the first thing to my left, honestly.
I'm curious what the first thing to your left is. Is it going to need blurred out?
It's a karambit.
See? Ooh. Yeah. There's no... Jessica, outsiders could take that the wrong way. There's no right way to take that. Yeah, just so everybody knows, the other day I text Jessica to see how she was doing, and she writes back to me. I forget exactly what, but then I said, all right, well, let me know when you guys are available to talk, you and Phil, and I'll give you a call. She goes, I'll make one better. I'll shut the bedroom door. first time I've ever been invited to a married couple's bedroom. Sherry McQueen just started laughing. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you. So, Gavin, talk to me, buddy. What are you up to this rest of this week? I know you got today planned. Tonight, there's no shows or anything. I have to tell you about my random date that I apparently was on with Mike and his wife the other day.
Let's see. Tomorrow, I know I have a Between the Notes with Nightfire. And, I am also going to the orthodontist tomorrow.
You and Joe both have a dentist appointment tomorrow.
Oh, that's cute. Maybe we'll see each other there.
Probably not.
Probably not. I have a feeling we're going for different reasons. So.
Well, you're going to an orthodontist. His is a dentist. But Phil was hot. Wait, what? It was hot. Phil, it was hot. Ha. Gavin, by the way, Stuart's helping you with the sales pitch later for Shark Tank. A used candle is still a candle. It just has a preloaded wick. I like that. That was clever. So I went to go see a reggae band the other day that I know the band, like I've seen them before, and all that. And it's a fun band. What are you laughing at?
Someone just texted me that today's episode is interesting. Well, she said intruding at first, but then she said interesting. So I'm not sure if that was a typo or it. Yeah. I'd seen you with a reggae band.
I know who texted you now. But I didn't know I was on a date. I was there to meet a group of people, and it was the most awkward thing I've been a part of in a long time. So my one friend, she, who is a friend, was like, here, come here, I want you to meet my friends. She invites me over, and I get pulled into this group of people. The girl that she's sitting next to, she never introduces me to. Okay. And as I'm being introduced to her, she literally is she's going on and on with her friend and not saying anything to me. And I'm sitting in the middle of a group of like maybe 12 guys. And one guy and I bumped each other, and I'm like, oh, excuse me. And he makes a big scene. Well, then somebody decides to hand me something to smoke with everybody. And I still know nobody in this group other than my friend that sat down, and she only knows her girlfriend. Well, apparently her girlfriend was in Playboy last year during COVID. And I was like, that's cool. While she's sitting with her boyfriend, she opens up the Playboy and starts on her phone and starts showing me pictures. I'm like, you have to be really confident in yourself to know your girl's opening up a picture of her in Playboy. Like the fact that she's in Playboy. So I was like really impressed with that. But we walk around and I see my friends that I was there and I thought I was going to hang out with a little bit, and I ended up not. But like they were like, go do you, enjoy your date. And I'm like, what date? They're like, oh, she is into you. I'm like, she is not into me. We're friends. Nope. I see that look she's giving you. Apparently I was on a date and I had no idea because I'm not dating.
Oh, you probably did great.
I did! Everybody, even the people that I didn't know that she introduced me to, like, you guys are a cute couple. I'm like, what? Like, we're literally, like, her and I are just friends, and I put her in that basket very long time ago, and I don't take girls out of that when they go in there, because then it adds just drama to the friendship and all that. But everybody sees her and I bonding, and I'm like, no, it's not like that. Her and I are not doing anything like that. But apparently everybody thinks we are and thinks her and I make a good couple. Now, tonight, I have a very important meeting, and apparently there's dessert involved, and I'm really interested in this one. Tonight, I have a meeting with the city of Cleveland and a couple other things, and the one person there I'm going to be hanging out with afterwards, and it's at her house, and she's one of we're talking business and all that, but she was like, I plan to bring dessert. And I literally didn't know what to write back to that because in my head, I'm dirty.
Why didn't you just say, oh, cool, what are you bringing?
I said that sounds dirty and exciting at the same time. Which way should I take it? And she just wrote back, well, however you want. And I just go, oh, no way. I didn't say that when I censored myself. So, yeah, made it really interesting. I'll let everybody know tomorrow whether it was another date that I didn't know I was on, or is this somebody that like is just having fun with me through text messaging? Because I hope it's that. I do think she's a wonderful person, but like I want to be doing bigger things with business, and I don't want to be shitting where I eat.
Well, hopefully she's watching the show right now.
Even if she is, I'd say the same thing to her face. I'd be like,
No,
look,
that's what I'm saying. Oh, well, hopefully she's watching the show
that
right
way,
now.
whoo, I get there, and it's not like I'm like showing up in a trench coat with nothing underneath, and she's like, ooh, and then there's like 18 people there. Whoo, that would
You ever, the Zac Efron was in a movie, I think it was called like Just Friends or something like that. But there's a scene where this girl that he's talking to invites him to a adult party. And so he shows up wearing a shirt, a crop top that says "Rock Out," and then he's wearing a strap on.
No,
That's what he shows. Yeah, he's wearing jeans with a strap on over it, and he shows up, and he knocks on the door, and her parents open wearing suits and dresses and all this stuff because it was no kids allowed. It was an adult party. It was a formal event. And
was it Zac Efron?
Oh yeah, it was Zac Efron. And he looks around. He's all, I'm just gonna pretend like this isn't happening. Hi, what's going on? And starts shaking everybody's hand. It was great.
Have you you've seen Wedding Crashers? I assume.
Oh, I love Wedding Crashers. It's a funny movie. Yeah, you could never make that movie now. Like not a million years. But no, I definitely have seen that movie.
I 100% agree. You can never make a movie like that now.
No.
Like you couldn't even probably make a movie like Austin Powers right now. Like, people would take it wrong. I think you
don't think so? I think Austin Powers is cheesy enough. I think it's campy enough where you can get away with it.
Do you? Okay. It's hard to say movies that have come out recently that maybe we could like play with to say like, yeah, but this is like this. Because
the last movie that really came out that was like a true raunchy comedy like that would probably be Sausage Party, and that came out I think 5 years ago.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Like, when was the last time you saw a really good raunchy comedy? They were like really taboo and like really like they hit the nail on the head a couple times. We're like, God damn.
Have you? I cannot think. I've never been a raunchy movie guy. If you're a raunchy movie person, put your favorite raunchy movie in the comments right now. Like, I don't care if you even say Porky's. Do you know what Porky's is?
Yeah.
You've seen Porky's?
I've seen clips of it. I've never actually watched the whole movie, though.
Could you remake Dogma now? Have you seen Dogma? That's a good movie.
Not seen Dogma.
So I think you could, but it'd be rewritten in a different way to make it more into today's standards. But yeah, Dogma is a movie I think you could be remade. Dogma would be... It'd be a movie that came out when I was probably around your age. Yeah. So that gives you an idea. Old School is best.
Good
it's like
Boys.
Animal House.
Good Boys. Did you see that? That came. How long did that one come out though? Was that 4 years ago? It was either 3 or 4 years ago. But that one was really good. I like that one a lot, just because they portrayed the children as children so well in that.
So raunchy comedies are unique because. Okay, what's the one with the guys that are the comedians and the devil rapes Jonah Hill?
Oh, This Is the End.
When was that? That seems like that would be more recent.
That was like 2015, I think.
No way.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
I know Old School's old like that, but an Animal House, I believe, is the 80s, end of 80s, beginning of the 90s. Yeah. John Belushi in that. Animal House broke all the barriers with that, though. Like, when you watch National Lampoon's anything now, like have you ever seen the documentary about that, how it got started? There's a documentary on Netflix, and it's phenomenal because they talk about how they didn't expect to ever blow up. They were just a bunch of perverted guys having fun and making jokes, and then it turned into a movie, and it blew up, and it turned into a series. You pick a National Lampoon movie, I would have to say that Animal House is a great one, but I also have to go with the fact that Christmas Vacation. I love. And you and I joke about.
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. My mom's boyfriend JD, every single time, every Christmas, he will just put that on repeats on TV.
We talked about this.
Yeah, the entire day. Like I watch the same scene 18 times throughout the day, just because like every time I look at the TV, it just happens to be like one of the same 3 scenes.
Really?
Yep.
Gavin, what was a movie? Do you remember the one movie you turned on? It was like females, Hannah's, Heather's, something like that.
Heathers, the musical. Yeah, I showed you the musical of it.
Stephanie, that was for you. I watched the musical of that because you have referred that movie to me so many times.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Heathers is phenomenal. Heathers is a great musical for those who are getting into musicals. Like, it's a very great introduction musical.
Really?
Yeah. Especially with like a younger generation.
I'm going to play that card then. I'm going to twist that and play that card with you. Okay, so that is a good one for getting another generation into it. All right? But I think Wicked. I think Phantom of the Opera. I think Jersey Boys. If I'm going to pick a play to take somebody to for their first one, I picture those. What makes Heather's stand out for you?
So I would say with younger generations specifically, just because it is, in a sense, it's a bit of a raunchy comedy. It's like Mean Girls. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody, and it was Mean Girls before Mean Girls was a thing. It came out way. There was a book, Heathers, and then the movie Heathers, which both came out way before Mean Girls, and then the musical Heathers, which came out further after. But basically, the story is Mean Girls, where people die in it. You know, it's high school, and there's sex, there's drugs, there's rock and roll, there's death, there's really raunchy comedy, and overall it's light, but it touches on some heavier subjects. And I think specifically with my generation has a very, very close relationship with depression, death, suicide, rape, all kinds of things, very, very touchy subjects. And this sort of goes along with all of those and allows you to look at it from a different light, where you kind of almost get like a breath of fresh air. We're like, wow, this is super serious, but it's making me laugh for some reason. What the hell?
Yeah, 100%. I love it. Very well put. I think it's funny because Stephanie's just agreeing with you. Heather's rock, Mean Girls was good too, but everybody loves Grease. I got chance. I'm multiplying. And all right, I'll stop. And then the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Gavin, have you seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
So I actually refuse to see it until I see it live. I've not seen it. I've not listened to it. I know Time Warp because we did it in show choir.
Yes.
But other than that, I've heard the wonderful stories of seeing it live, and I refuse to watch or listen to it until I get to go see it live for the first time. I want it to be a completely. I'm saving myself.
Yep.
Is what it is, because I know your first time you lose your virginity is what it's called when you get there. Yeah. So I'm completely saving myself.
When you lose your virginity to Rocky, that does not sound good because I'm picturing Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
Hey, Gavin, come on. I don't know. But like,
he walks in the room, Italian stallion style, and Eye of the Tiger just starts playing.
That's so wrong. Oh. So, honestly, Gavin, we're going to have to find, I believe Stephanie has it right. The Rocky Horror Picture does a live show at midnight in Coventry. So that's right in between us. Bro, we'll dress up. If anybody's ever seen the Drew Carey show, they do a whole thing with the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and they all dress up and all that. What they did there is what it looks like in an actual show. It is absolutely like pure. The theater when you leave is a mess, and like you have toilet paper, you have spoons, it's fun. Like you leave and go, wow, that was an experience.
Stephanie, I promise you, I'm not scared. I've never seen the show, and I'm not really I don't know where it's at, so it's not something that I actively search out. It's like it's been one of those things where like if I saw like an ad for it, or somebody invited me to go, I'd be like, absolutely, let's go do it. But it's not something that like I've actively been searching to go do.
Would you wear a costume?
Oh, most definitely, yeah. I have full fishnets and everything already.
Pictures, or it didn't happen. Jessica Dugas is calling us out. You and I are going to be fine with that. Like that's one where you and I are going to be totally fine.
Yeah.
You know. I do have one other thing. Stuart saw it with the original cast. That's absolutely cool.
Nice.
When you see something for the first time with the original cast, I think it separates it for the rest of everybody. I actually was very lucky as a teenager. My family was in Toronto, and I got to see the Phantom of the Opera become the first show at that theater that they were using there. I don't remember the name of it. Like opening night, it was just a
That's
thing.
awesome. I saw. What was it? I saw Phantom of the Opera at Playhouse Square. It was really amazing. It was really good. And then Newsies, I saw kind of live. They were playing a recorded version on a big screen at a huge movie theater. So it was the original show. And it was a live recording, but it was not like in person.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it was still really great.
So Jessica Dugas asked a fun question here. She said, "Where's Brett? I want to do a Stripes scene." So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Brett Gordon has slept in today, and I would rather have everybody now. Here is his email, Brett@businesses. So that's got the extra ES on it. Our people too. Everybody send him an email today throughout the day, just randomly telling him something. Like, it doesn't have to be anything. Like, you could be like, "I like toast," or like, "Hey, your toes are pretty," like something like that. Have fun with it, but everybody start emailing Brett just to have him like wonder what the hell's going on. Stripes, that's one of my favorites as well. Stephanie says toast, newspaper, squirt guns. What else? Oh, you can't have anything else. Dying to see Gavin in fishnets, and you will need to bring your own props. By the way, Stephanie says, "Gavin, I'm just teasing you. Drew Carey grew up with a midnight showing in Coventry. It was intense and so fun." And she's 100% right on this. Oh, my God. Like, 100% right. So, guys, once again, that's Brett, BRETT, @businesses. That's got the extra ES, RARE, not OUR, ARE, to people, PE, to TOO. Email him. Everybody watching.
I'll have to find my fishnets. I'm not sure where they are. I have fishnet leggings and a garter and a full shirt. Like, I got like a whole like thing of fishnets.
So I absolutely am excited. That's good, Jessica. He's dealt with me enough. He should know that what the F is going to happen to him in life, and I love that. So I expect rebuttal from people. Go, all yours.
Question: the props. What do you mean I need to bring props? Like, should I bring like sex toys, something like that, or like nunchucks, or like
toast, newspaper, squirt guns, things like that?
Okay.
Like I knew what you were going to ask. I saw it in your face. You're like, wait a minute. Yeah. The guy that's my neighbor that has the strap on. Do I need to ask him to borrow it? Like, I wasn't going to make you do anything like that. But you probably, we all have our own nowadays. So
yeah. Well, I live next to two single mothers, so.
Oh my God, easy to get one fast.
Yeah.
No props for the movie. You just act out the scenes. And she's 100% right. It really is. It's an audience participation show. There's another show called The Room. Horrible movie. Absolutely horrible.
Oh, yeah. Tommy Wiseau.
Yes. Yeah. If you have not seen The Room, it's the same thing in theaters as Rocky Horror Picture Show, but it is hilariously funny. So one of the things in that movie is the actress that he has a love scene with, multiple love scenes, but they're all the exact same.
Yeah, that's because she was so uncomfortable. She did not want to do it. Yeah, my one ex was obsessed with that whole thing, the movie with Tommy. Like, she just thought it was the most amazing thing ever. She tried to get me to watch that movie probably 4 or 5 times. And I would just get to that awkward ass 5-minute love scene, and I was like, babe, I love you. I can't watch this. Like, this is awful. This hurts me.
You've seen Porky's, right?
No, I've seen clips of it.
I knew there was something. I just couldn't remember if you said yes or no. So Porky's, in high school, I switched to a completely Christian, Jesus first, you don't say F words like fuck or anything. And I used yours. Sorry, bud. I've used them all for the show in the first 40 minutes today.
So,
but like, I'm at this school that like you don't do stuff. You don't talk about things like that. And my parents are like, well, why don't you guys have a date night at the house, you and some of your friends, like do it like couples night, and you guys could watch a movie. I said, okay. This is back when rentals, like you go rent things still.
Yeah.
So we went to, I said I used it, Jessica Dugas. I don't need to be held accountable for how many I give, okay? But I literally go and my parents rent a movie and they're like, this is a classic. You're going to love it. Watch it with your friends, not knowing anything about it. First 15 minutes, there's a dozen guys paying for a prostitute and you see like 6 penises. I'm like, right? But when you're in a Christian school full of people who like barely know what the F word is, oh my God, dude. I was the most embarrassed kid in school. I get to school the next day, Monday, and everybody already knows about it. And they're like, your parents are perverts. And I'm like, that does not make them perverts. It means they have an interesting like idea of what a movie is. But like, they're raunchy movies, man. You either are going to be loved or hated by it. Like if I say, ready, Talladega Nights, Will Ferrell.
That's good. Yeah, it has some very. I think all these movies have very quotable parts. Like in all honesty, I think majority of raunchy movies are average movies or slightly above average. Very now and again, you get like a Superbad, where it's like that is like a golden movie as far as raunchy movies go. However, all of these movies, regardless of the overall quality, they all have very, very quotable parts in them. Like the scene where Bobby gets his arm broken because he won't say he loves crepes.
Yes.
The guy's all like, just say you love very thin pancakes. He's like, oh, that's a fair compromise. I'm not going to do it. Break the arm. He just snaps like, oh, he called my bluff. Oh, he completely called it.
I was not a fan of Talladega Nights, but old school, loved. 40-Year-Old Virgin, absolutely hysterical. Will Ferrell is either hit or miss with me. 100% hit or miss.
It's the same character.
Yeah, but you'd think that would mean you'd either get into it or not. Like Talladega Nights, I'm like, eh. But old school and Anchorman, I laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
San Diego, whale vagina.
I think his acting really shows how well the script is written, because he plays the same character over and over again for the most part. That means that because he has stuff that works really, really well, like Anchorman, like Elf, but then he has things that don't work so well with other people. That varies with everybody, and I think that just goes to show how well his character has been written.
You know what? I will accept that, because I think that's the most profound answer I've ever gotten about Will Ferrell, and you actually sound like you've thought it. So I'm going to actually let you have the Will Ferrell comment of the day. Now, here's the thing. What if we could get rid of one actor or actress of all time? Who would you get rid of? Anyone.
What do you mean get rid of? Like, just take them out of the market or delete them from existence?
I don't want to, say delete them from existence, but,
Well, not like kill them, but, they just never existed in the timeline. That's what I mean.
Okay.
They just never existed in the timeline.
I'll go with that just because it can answer my other part of the question for depending on how you answer. So, they no existence in the timeline. So, a good one would be if I said Harrison Ford, there'd be no Star Wars, there'd be no Indiana Jones, there'd be no stuff like that. But I would pick something like, if I was to pick an actor or actress, I cannot stand, God, I can't think of his name either. He was in the one with the raping of Jonah Hill. Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Is that who it is?
The guy with the laugh.
Yes. Yes, I think he's funny off camera, but his character that he plays on movies, I just am I couldn't talk to this person.
So he's actually even said himself that he's a horrible comedian. When he started doing comedy, he wanted to be a comedian until he got into doing stand-up comedy, and then he found people who actually wanted to be comedians, and he was all like, oh wow, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. But he loved to write and he loved to act, and that's how he ended up making his career in comedy, because he's a funny dude. but just not in a stand-up kind of sense. Like he has a charm to him, and he's figured out how to apply that properly.
I think one-on-one, him and I would be friends. Yeah. But I just, some of his movies he's in, I'm like, pfft. So who would you get rid of? And then I want to get back. I'm going to go back to Matt, our guest coming up in the next 15 minutes.
I'm trying to.
Do you want me to read the bio while you think?
Yeah, go ahead. Because I don't know if I could think of an actor that I would.
Actor, actress, even somebody who maybe isn't around anymore. You were like, I couldn't stand their movies. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Matt Franklin. He is a serial entrepreneur. He was on Shark Tank. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He has swam with the sharks in season 4. Since his appearance on Shark Tank, he has spoken with hundreds of entrepreneurs, and he's going to speak to 2 more today of all the expertise levels they do to launch their new products in business. In doing so, one thing he has discovered, is that self-employed people are terrible about retirement. Ooh, that's probably true. And planning on the investments, on investing, whether it's lack of financial education, the belief in the business will end up funding their retirement, or simply procrastination. Being behind on retirement preparation seems to be a universal problem among entrepreneurs. Upon realizing that he too was unprepared for his golden years, Matt became obsessed with retirement investing and completely overhauled his investment strategy. And by getting out of the stock market into cash flowing investments. Ladies and gentlemen, he's going to be here shortly. He is the host of Rogue Retirement Lounge, Matt Franklin. Do not miss out on what he's going to be teaching us today about savings and everything. Oh, and by the way, he is going to talk with us about his product that he made and his deal on Shark Tank.
I can't think of one.
Give me a movie.
I don't know. Okay. Like I can't think of like. I guess the movie I hated was Krampus. That was a stupid movie.
Are you talking about the delete one actor? Dwayne Johnson. Did not see that one coming. There's people he's more like on the fence for people I know for acting than anything else. People love him as a wrestler, people love him as a TV host, but for something about movies, they don't like him. And I think he's funny in some movies. Jumanji, he killed it in Jumanji. I loved him in there. Stuart, you're getting shocked face from Jessica Dugas. Yeah. Jaybird says charmed, 3 times a charm. And then the other one that Jessica Dugas says, it's the same with Adam Sandler for me. There are a few I'm over here asking, what was he thinking? 50 First Dates, love 50 First Dates. Hated The Gobbler. Like, everybody said I was going to like...
The Cobbler.
Cobbler, thank you. Yeah, Didn't even make it halfway through without being bored out my mind. I'm like, all right, I got to stop this.
That was interesting because that wasn't a comedy. Like, it had funny aspects in it. I think that more falls on marketing. Just because you expect him to have comedies all the time. Like, what was it? It was called like Blood Diamonds or something like that. He did one where he's working in a jewelry store and found this, like raw cuts.
Okay.
What it's called?
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. Thank you. I thought that was a comedy. And
I did too.
I got 20 minutes into it, and as soon as I realized it was not a comedy, I enjoyed the movie so much more.
I enjoyed that one time. It's not like I go back like Big Daddy. If Big Daddy or I want to say Richie Rich. Richie Rich is not the name of it. The one where he gets all the money. Mr. Deeds. Yeah. Those I watch with ease. Those I enjoy. I have no issues. It's his more serious roles. That, like, okay, did you know there's a new movie out with Kevin Hart?
No.
He plays not a comedy at all. It is completely serious, and it is probably the best acting I've ever seen of Kevin Hart. He actually will bring you to tears.
Really?
And believe it or not, yes. Peach Cobbler is better than shoe leather. I just had to read the hee. And Stuart is clarifying what he said for everybody. He is not as an actor. It's always just the same actor. And then Rachel chimes in with, fatherhood. Rachel, tell me straight.
Hey, Rachel.
Did you? Hi, Rachel. I assume you know her.
She comes to karaoke, yeah. Yeah.
Rachel comes to karaoke. I
Yeah,
love
and you know what else she does at karaoke? When she
what?
comes to karaoke, she sings, Brandon. Not only does she come to support me, but she also sings. Brandon doesn't like to sing, Rachel. He likes to heckle. He'll sit in the crowd and he'll get drunk and he'll shout things at me while I'm singing and when I'm done singing. But he doesn't sing himself.
I did that one time, and I did not eat. I came to visit Gavin, and the restaurant shut down all the food and didn't tell me. No waitress came over, no anything. I had to walk up to the bar to get a drink, and she made it so strong that I literally got drunk in like one drink. Catch Brandon and I at the same table. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That would be, guys, I'm in public. I will be either the quietest person in the world or the loudest. There's no middle ground with me. I'm the guy that's going to be like Gavin's up on stage singing. And honestly, Gavin was killing it. And I was there to support him. But then the family that comes in to sing together comes in and he's all excited. So I start heckling him to make him sing more. And it just played into my favor all night. Woo! Even his friend was excited. Like, he was having fun with me. Your buddy just sat there like, let's do it.
Justin's awesome. Yeah.
Oh,
Justin,
yeah.
Alina. I think Alina was in the car sleeping. She had a long day at work, but she's usually there too.
It was a great time. And you ended up making friends with that family. Do they still come in karaoke?
Oh, they've been regulars of mine for a couple months now. They come every week. They come and they sing. Yep.
I love it.
A couple of my shows have like regular groups now. It's really nice.
Hi, Mandy Adderberry. DJ Kerr. See, I like that. See, even that. He did not like that I was picking on him because he was like, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to come up and sign up for your song. I'm DJ Gavin. I'm like, we need to give you a better DJ name. It just... And he likes it. I'm not.
If I had my own business, then maybe I would do like a different name. Does he want you
to call her that DJ Gavin?
He originally was all like, hey, come up with your DJ names if you want. And I started for a while, DJ Nova, first name Casa, last name Nova. And I did that for a bit.
Huh? That's a real name, somebody you know, or that's just a joke?
No, that was the name that I came up with.
I like that. Casanova. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, DJ Nova. First name Casa, last name Nova. I did that for a while, but I wouldn't respond to it. Like, okay. I respond to Cass. I had people who called me Cass in high school, short for Casanova. But Nova itself, I just wouldn't respond to. I was like, screw it. DJ Gavin. Plain and simple.
I love it. Miranda, I see you here, and you're saying that we need to come support Gavin. I am DJ Rabbit Kerr. So I think that if you let me know a week ahead of time, you and I could plan something, Miranda, and we will go surprise Gavin at one of his shows.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I have karaoke shows, guys.
Right, and I'm not even going to be weird with this one. I'm going to be honest. I don't karaoke. Gavin knows this. That's why he picks on me. I will heckle with the best of them, but I am not. So I just don't like the sound of my voice. And the fact that I can hear my voice when I'm singing is wonderful. Right now, I have these headphones on, and they're noise-canceling headphones. So I don't get to hear myself, and that's why the show goes so well, because nobody has to worry about Brandon hearing himself. Miranda says she is so down. I'm 100% down. I don't either unless I'm blacked out. I can do it not blacked out. I just prefer not to. Maybe someone else likes the sound of your voice, Brandon. All right, fine, Rachel.
She's so sweet.
She is. I can tell that already. She is just sweet. So, Rachel, why don't you and the handsome young man in the picture with you come with us, and we can all karaoke. Me, you, Miranda, Rachel, and Handsome.
Yeah, and Saturday night at Teams. We'll all be there.
And we could be a team of karaoke people, and we can have fun with this.
Rachel actually has a phenomenal voice. She does Evanescence like it's nobody's joke, like it's no one's business. Holy shit! When she sings,
really?
Oh yeah,
really? Yeah. That's. Rachel says, "Oh my God, yes!" to Teams on Saturday. Miranda says she'll go. Apparently, we're going to Teams on Saturday, buddy.
There you go.
I have 2 watch Lady Killers. Have you 2 watched Lady Killers? That's what it says.
Oh.
I have not.
I don't know what that is.
I don't need either.
I like to love my ladies, not kill them.
But karaoke with Gavin is on my bucket list now, seriously. And 100% yes, it should be. Gavin really does put on a show. He hits the DJ button, and he just switches into a different mode. It's fun to see. So Miranda, Rachel, Gavin, me, we're all going to be at this bar called Teams in Berea.
Yes, from 9 to midnight.
9? I thought it was 8.
This one's 9. The other shows are 8.
Okay. So yes, Miranda and Rachel, I need you guys to both give me a thumbs up so I don't drive out to Berea because it's an hour drive for me.
Rachel will definitely be there. I don't know if Miranda's gonna be there. She better be. She should be.
She should be. Miranda, isn't Miranda the one that worked at Olive Garden with you?
Yeah.
I thought so. She used to participate back in the day. Now she's back. I love it. Yeah. So Gavin, thank you for the compliment. Stephanie says we need to watch it. And where is Teams? It's in Berea. If you just look it up, TEAMZ, I believe is correct. You will be able to find it. Just make sure you're going. Gavin's Drowning Pool. All right, Rachel, and anybody that's ever seen Gavin sing, his voice has that deep tone to it. Johnny Cash. He needs to learn like Hurt and actually know the words because I felt bad. I told him to do Johnny Cash and he picked a song that you did fine, but you didn't know the words to the one I was like, he's going to.
I don't sing a lot of Johnny Cash. I've always been more of an Elvis Presley person.
Do you know why I don't do Elvis?
Why? Because your parents really loved him?
No, I liked Elvis. I loved Elvis back in the day. I really did. I thought it was he was fun. They released a CD that was a double CD of all his #1 hits.
Yeah.
So I bought it the day it came out because I really did like Elvis. Every time I play an Elvis song in my car, I get pulled over. Doesn't matter if I could go 10 years. I swear to God, it's the weirdest thing ever. Yes! Dude, 4 times, 4 tickets. I ran away from 1 cop. 4 times, 4 tickets. Ring of Fire. Rachel gets it. Ring of Fire is her.
Miranda's Ring of Fire. Making me blush.
You're a talented young man. I've heard that. Gavin's voice is so amazing and so unique. I appreciate it when people don't sound like everyone else. And Gavin, I agree with Jessica Dugas here. These ladies are just throwing themselves at you today. Like I saw the panties come across your screen. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, right.
You know. Oh my God, Brandon, that's weird. What's weird? Me telling Gavin that he's sexy? Not weird at all. I say it every morning at the opening. He is adorable. And Gavin, you really do have a great singing voice. I've seen you enough that I can actually, without picking on you,
I get very self-conscious about it sometimes.
I was down for the groupie from his. I was down to be a groupie from his old band. I have to be honest. Wait. I need to hear this running cop story. Yeah, I did throw it out there like no one would notice. Okay, so I'm driving down a country road, and in Indiana, the country roads, they have like a huge barrier, almost like highways in Ohio, okay? But you're on one side each, and the speed limit's like 50 miles an hour, but nobody does it. It's easily 80 miles an hour. And if you're not doing that, the guy behind you makes sure you're not doing it. So I'm speeding, I'm having fun, and guess what? Sorry, caught me off guard. The Elvis ticket thing is weird. So I had Elvis, and we have 4 guys in the car. And this is back in my church days. They don't do stuff like this. We put Elvis on. We're all singing, "Rock around the treetop." Oh, I don't know, whatever. I'm just singing a song. It's not Elvis, and the minute I started singing it, I knew I wasn't, but it's okay. So I'm driving, and I see a cop. And I'm going so fast, and the guy behind me is going fast. All of a sudden, I see him, and I'm like, I'm going to get pulled over. And I see the lights turn on, and he's getting ready to slow down and do a U-turn. And I realize in that moment I have 2 options. 1, he's coming after me to pull over. Or 2, I can pull in this housing development, pull into a driveway, and look like I was coming home, and he'll drive by me. So that's what I did, and the cop went by. And I felt it was like the safest thing for me to do. I didn't need a new ticket, especially an Elvis ticket. I already had enough at that point. I had 2 at that point, and I got 2 more after that. So
have you ever thought of listening to Elvis when you're not driving?
I do at home.
Oh, do bad things happen then?
No, you can't tell me you don't have a song. Like, okay, the Verve Pipe, Freshman. Like, the Verve Pipe, we were merely freshmen.
Yeah.
I swear to you, I don't know why the universe does things like this, but it aligns you with things. Every time I've heard that song, full song, not just part of it, full song on the radio, okay? Somebody dies within the next 72 hours.
What?
Every time. So that's why if somebody has it like all of a sudden randomly come on, I'm like, I got to change this. It's a weird thing. I promise you. I know I'm unique in my own ways, but every single time. Why does Jailhouse Rock ticket with your name on it? That just sounds like something I would have happen to me. Like, no, we're not doing that. But yeah, sorry, I just had a call from my ex. Don't worry, Mandy. We're here to send you love and appreciation and let you know how awesome you are. So,
we didn't even notice. It's okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of people just commenting, having fun with us this morning. So
I was saying because we can't see that she's on the phone.
Oh, that one went over my head. Now you know why I'm bald. So Franklin is a real Matt Franklin is a real serial entrepreneur from Portland, Oregon. He's a one-man video production company since 2006. He has a part-time product developer. His most successful product landed him on Shark Tank Season 4. He has thrown the chum and swam with the sharks as deep as he can get. But since his Shark Tank appearance, he has spoken with hundreds of entrepreneurs all over of all experience levels as they try to launch new products and businesses in doing so. One thing he has discovered is that self-employed people are terrible about retirement planning and investing. Are you horrible at it? Because guess what? We're going to have options. Whether it's lack of financial education, the belief in their business will end up funding their retirement, or simply procrastination, being behind on retirement preparation seems to be the universal problem among entrepreneurs. Upon realizing that, he too, that's Mr. Matt Franklin, was unprepared for his golden years. Matt became obsessed with retirement investing. He completely overhauled his investment strategy, and by getting out of the stock market into cash flowing investments like rental houses, apartment syndications, he was able to shave 10 years off his working life. That's awesome. Now enjoying pre-tirement. Love that. Matt hosts a podcast called Rogue Retirement Lounge. His mission is to help entrepreneurs with retirement strategies so they won't have to work into their 70s. Ladies and gentlemen, it is truly an honor to introduce Mr. Matt Franklin. Ooh, I hit the wrong button.
Hey, Gavin, Brandon, how are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Good. How are you?
Living the dream. Living the dream. Top of the morning to you.
Cheers.
Cheers. So we have had some fun getting to like research you and get to know about you. Oh yeah, your porn history is great, man. Let me tell you. But so in all honesty, though, I was having some fun with this, and I was like, Gavin, let's look up his Shark Tank stuff. Let's look this up. So you are a posture-aholic on one of your things, or a posture, yeah. I was like, I got to make sure I get ready for this episode.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about posture a couple episodes ago, and the chest and the whole thing, and I thought, I can talk about that stuff.
Do you still do that business, or no?
Yeah, it's just kind of on autopilot right now. It just,
awesome.
Yeah, it just kind of, and then every time on MSNBC when one of our episodes airs, then just things go crazy for a couple of days, which is kind of fun.
Bet. That's awesome, though.
I went and I searched out the episode. I was only able to find a clip on YouTube. It was about a minute and a half long where you're doing the actual pitch. What happened after that? Walk us through the episode a bit. Because I only saw the pitch looked good. I know you had the Dancing with the Stars. I'm curious on how you got those dancers to be a part of you on that. I'm not sure if that came out of your budgets personally or the studios, but walk us through that a little bit, that episode.
Okay, well, yeah, we got the John Robertson and Anna Turbinskaya from Dancing with the Stars, and that was an amazing little development. Yeah. But it was through no work on our part. Our producer guy, he's like, wait a minute, so people who like to dance need good posture. And we're like, yeah, absolutely. And he's like, well, he works for ABC. So he made a couple of phone calls and he put that deal together. So then Anna and Jonathan, he's like, this is going to be a great cross promotion. This is going to be great for you guys. And then we worked out a little deal where they got a percentage because, you know, they knew they were going to sell some. I mean, it wasn't a lucrative deal for them, but we definitely got them a little taste. And so they came on, and that really saved us because, I mean, to be quite frank, we were a little hungover that day. My business partner.
You guys look tired. Like I was looking at you guys. I'm like, they don't look nervous, but they don't look 100. They look a little tense.
Well, you know, if you can read body language and alcohol bloat, and all that kind of those signals, we had it all. We were definitely not batting at 100% that morning.
And you still got the hit.
Yeah. I mean, but they cut out. I mean, when we got done, we were up there for almost an hour, and then they cut our segment down to like 12 minutes maybe.
At most,
Is that average then? An hour being up there?
I think 45 minutes is the average. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
a lot of editing.
It was tons of editing and it was harrowing. At one point, I literally jabbed my partner like that because he kept interrupting everyone. He would interrupt the sharks when they would start saying something, and he would interrupt me. And he knows that he was being a complete dick. But he thought that was, he had pre-planned it coming in. I didn't know it, but he had all these little one-liners planned that we hadn't worked on. And so he was like throwing this stuff out, and thankfully most of it got edited out, but it was a very harrowing and frustrating experience.
Yeah. He probably thought that like a more aggressive tactic would have gotten him maybe the attention or the respect that he was looking for. So they were taken seriously.
Yeah, it was all about attention. It was all about kind of, you know, just you know, and keeping things moving and keeping things being good TV. I mean, we knew that our product was stupid going into it without question. We knew that. I mean, basically, for those who haven't done the research, it's a posture improvement device that slips on your arms. We literally designed it ourselves in a hotel room with a pile of beers and a bunch of elastic and neoprene, and had a manufacturer build it for us. But it's a stupid product. I'm
not gonna lie. The first time that I saw it, when I heard what it was, I was like, okay, I know a lot of different posture products and stuff like that. And then I saw the way you had them. Like, is this a 50 Shades of Grey thing that they're doing right now?
Yeah, it's
kinky. Yeah, it holds your arms back.
Yeah, we because it is basically a strap. We used to call it a strap on. But,
all you needed is one just around the neck to make sure that your head stays up, and then it's like, boom, you're gonna have good posture and you're gonna like it.
Yeah, and ball a third one up and put it in your mouth.
There you go.
That's the only way. Yeah. So, what was your most nervous part about going into Shark Tank? I did not know you had an hour. I've read other interviews that were like 10 minutes, and there was a guy from Cleveland who got one. His interview, he said he literally wasn't even on presenting to them for 15 minutes. He said they were short with him, but he got a deal. And I was like, wow. So I've never heard the time frame. Did you know that was coming into it, or did you think you were?
We had no idea, because they make you do a pre-pitch. So they bring all the people who are going to be shooting in that weekend. They'll do 3 days of shooting in a row. So I think at the hotel, there was probably I don't know, maybe 20 different groups that were going to be pitching. So they bust us all to Paramount Studios, and on this pre-pitch day had us all pitch. And we went about halfway through, and they had a room, all the producers, because they're each group gets like an individual producer. So it's not just Clay Newbill, the producer. You get a kind of a junior producer, and then maybe a really junior producer. So there's this room full of producers. We go in and we pitch, and they were eviscerating some of these pitches, saying, go home, start it over again. You know, go back. You need to rewrite that. And And this is after people have been working on their pitch with their producer for 6 months, literally 6 months.
Now, when you said go home, do you mean back to the hotel, or you mean they were sending them home?
No, they were sorry. Yeah, go back to the hotel room and rewrite your pitch. Put in A, B, and C and make it better. And so we were watching this, and that day, well, I'm not going to reveal any terrible secrets, but that day my partner was super hungover. In fact, I went to knock on his hotel room door, and because the bus left for the studio at like 7:30, and that's for us, that's early. And so he literally threw his shoe at the door and said, "Get out of here," and wanted to go back to sleep. And so I was sitting there banging on his door, like one of those, you ever been in a hotel where some asshole is like 4 doors down? I was that guy that morning saying, dude, we got to go. Yes. So anyway, we go to the pre-pitch, we watch these people get eviscerated, and then we go up and we do ours, and they're like, okay, perfect. That was a great pitch. Clay, the head producer guy, he was like, that was awesome. Don't change your thing. We'll see you on Saturday. And so we go home like, oh, we're going to do great. Yeah. But then, Brandon, like you said, it ended up being this 1 hour slog of just getting questioned. And it was a brutally long, brutally nerve-wracking experience.
So did you end up getting a deal from it?
Yes, we did.
Nice.
But I don't know if you know this, but and I don't know the exact number. I'm in a little private group with that it has like a few hundred people who have appeared on Shark Tank, and only people who have been in this group can be on there. Yeah. Or only people who have been on Shark Tank can be in this group. And the numbers that I hear is that it's about 25 to 30% of the deals that you see on TV actually come to fruition, and the rest of them just get vaporized in the due diligence process.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, did yours get vaporized?
Reality TV
all the way through? Yeah, they just do it for the viewing. Because like I have a Scrub Daddy, and that came from there. I think of things.
That deal worked out for sure. Yeah, those man, I'd give my left leg to be that guy.
Right, and when you did this, have you always been an entrepreneur, or was this just like a drunken thing that you're like, oh, posture, you need to fix it, mother fathers?
Right. I have been an entrepreneur for 15 years. When I was a kid, I did everything from selling Blackberries to washing cars. And then when I got old enough, I sold pot because, pot has a way better margin than, especially in 1986, than Blackberries. It turns out. But no, who would have thought? But no, as an adult, I was not an entrepreneur until 2006. I had just, normal like corporate tech jobs. And, but in 2006, when Google announced it was going to buy YouTube for $1.65 billion, that hit me like a brick wall. I went into my office, typed up my resignation letter, and gave it to my boss. Gave him 60 days notice. So I mean, I was cool about it, but I gave him 60 days notice, and I said, "Dude, if Google's going to spend $1.65 billion, and this is in 2006 when $1.65 billion was real money, I said, video on the web is going to become a thing.
It's huge.
And I'm going to get in on it." And that was, most people didn't even have a DSL line back then, so you could barely, remember the Real Player where you'd get this little postage stamp size video player where you could barely watch videos.
Yes.
So it was like at its infancy, but I thought, okay, I'm going to start a video production company because people are going to need someone to help them shoot their video and edit their video and do that. And so that's when I became an entrepreneur.
Very cool. So you just saw a need and you filled it.
Yeah. The news told me. The news told me, and I listened.
So are you making medicines today? Because that's what the news tells me today. Like, no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Hey.
Hey.
See, you're doing the right thing.
But with that though, after Shark Tank, and you're doing all these things because Shark Tank's just a small part of your life. You've created a bunch of other things. Your podcast, you're teaching entrepreneurs about retirement and why they need to be saving and how they need to be saving. But you're not even saying go to the stock market. I had fun because I read your bio last night and I made my dad Google you because he's a financial advisor.
Oh.
And he was like, oh, I have questions. I'm like, write them down. He never did. But he might write a question here. But like for real, like it's like I invested. Gavin and I both invested in some cryptocurrency, Dogecoin back before it passed a penny. And
nice work.
Thanks.
And by the way, Brandon, there's a difference between investing and speculating.
Ooh, talk to me.
And this may make me sound like a kind of a jerk, but
do it.
But buying Dogecoin was a speculation, not an investment, because you had no idea. There was no fundamentals. There was no there was no history. I mean, in cryptocurrency itself only has a 10-year history, basically. So so in my opinion, any money that goes into cryptocurrency, especially Dogecoin, it's gambling, it's speculation, it's not an investment. Therefore, it should be treated as such. And therefore, I mean, and I'm sure your dad and I would be seeing eye to eye on that as far as, you should dedicate a very small percentage of your portfolio into investments like that, simply because you need to have the mindset where if you lose it all, you won't be upset about it. But all that said, nice work, man. Nice. That is brilliant. That I respect you, and I wish that I would have gotten in at that stage.
Now, would you say that putting any money into, we'll stick with Dogecoin specifically, Dogecoin now would be worthless, but if you had some in there, to just keep it in there and just let it sit?
If I had gotten in when it was below 1 cent, if it were me, I would take all my profits and run like the wind. I don't believe, you hear about the whole low energy consumption and this, low CPU loads and the environmental, like all these stories that back the idea of Dogecoin and rapid transaction rates and all these things. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So I don't know. And I don't believe that if it's going to get adopted or not. And so therefore what I would do is, and again, I'm not a financial advisor. I would take that profit because that's a once in a lifetime launch of, that kind of return. And it's like, okay, great. Count your money, count yourself smart. And before the next, cliff happens.
Now on the other end, then what about Bitcoin? Because that went from being worth pennies to $17,000 to $6,000 to $42,000 of Bitcoin.
Yeah, and then 65. When it eclipsed 60. So, I believe that the scarcity, the 21 million number that you have with Bitcoin, but that won't happen to 2041 or no 2140. So it's over 100 years before all the coins get finally mined.
Yes.
But that scarcity, and they're going to keep, having the halving events where every X number of years, the number of Bitcoins that are going to get produced are going to come out by half. So you're dealing with incremental scarcity with a long-term overall fixed number of coins. Therefore, if that's true, if you believe that there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoins, and if companies like El Salvador, we just heard a month or so ago that they're going to make it legal tenders so as to be able to do trading and banking and with unfettered access to using it. You're hearing about other countries. You're hearing about Wyoming. In Wyoming, they're very pro Bitcoin. Florida,
we have coffee shops around us where you can go and you can pay for your sandwich and coffee with Bitcoin.
Yeah,
they have a kiosk at the mall. You can walk up and buy Bitcoin now.
Yeah,
it looks like an ATM.
Yeah, I was in Detroit last week and saw an ATM, saw a Bitcoin ATM, and so all of that, this approaching critical mass. And Gavin, I'm sorry, this is a very long answer to a short question.
No, please.
You're great.
I'd rather you be thorough and explain your answers than just be like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, well, okay, actually, that would be the truth is, I don't know, because I don't know. And I'm not, Brandon, unlike your father, I'm not a financial advisor, but that scarcity story to me, if there's 21 million of these coins, we've got a planet that's got 9 billion people on it. We've got countries that are having, I mean, Argentina, you look at not that they're going to adopt it, but when you look at the problems that are happening with Argentina's collapse of their currency and the inflation and starving people, the story is too good not to, the Bitcoin story is too good not to have it become a thing. And to have it become a huge thing. And governments are going to, while some governments are going to embrace it, other governments are going to, like China's been cracking down on the mining. There's so many moving parts. But for me, every time, what I do is every time I see it go down 10%, I buy some, no matter what the price is. And this is my little dollar cost strategy. And I'm talking tiny bits, like $100, $200, $300 worth. Just go in when it drops, because who knows what's going to happen, and I'm willing to lose it all. So I believe that it's worthwhile to be keeping your eye on it, and it's worthwhile to buy the dip with spare change in your pocket.
So Stuart Lone Wolf says a great question here. He says, yeah, but cryptocurrency is a foreign language to the average person. And Gavin and I listened to your most recent episode while you were at Detroit airport. And you're talking about cryptocurrency. I wanted to be ready for you, Matt. I was excited for you.
Brandon, that's so awesome. That makes one person who listened to that episode. So thank you.
Two of us. But it only counts as one because I listened to it on my computer and then streamed it over to him. I just shared it. So
my ad dollars are going through the floor, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll go here. Hold on. Wait. What we'll do is, everybody, do me a favor right now. Go over to Rogue Retirement Lounge and go hit subscribe on any one of his music platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. The Rogue Retirement Lounge, ladies and gentlemen, perfect place to go get. Honestly, you bring a energy is the word I want to use there. That is just absolutely. You captivate people with wanting to know more about cryptocurrency, to stock market, to retirement. And I know that's the biggest goal, is the retirement. And it's such a, I'm not insulting you, but it is a boring topic for a lot of people. And you,
goddamn right it is.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. You get one F word and everything else is free. Just so you know. No, you're fine. Okay. You didn't use it yet. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
Because I've already used all of ours for the show today.
Okay.
And for everybody else except you. So, but it's having these conversations with people and talking about retirement and whether they're an entrepreneur or not is very difficult, because people don't understand crypto they don't understand the stock market. One of the biggest things when Gavin and I were putting money into Dogecoin is I said, look, don't put $1,000 of your tax return in there. Take $20, $100, something that if you went to the casino and it got lost right away, you're not going to notice it. I go, that's how you play it. Because I'm not a gambler in the casino. We were just in Vegas for my one company. Gavin and I were out there having a great time. And he hit the casino. He goes down. He comes up. You got a sub already. Boom. See? And I know already too.
I went down. The first night I went down, I lost $40 in roulette immediately. But then I went down another night. I won $150 in blackjack. I came upstairs. Everybody in the room yelled at me for leaving. They're like, "Oh, you're on a hot streak. Go back down. Go back down." I was all like,
"Oh no!"
All right, whatever. I go back down. I end up immediately losing $50. I'm like, "Whatever. I'm up 100." So I go back up to the room. I'm like, "You guys are dicks. I'm never listening to you again when it comes to gambling." And then
trust your gut, man.
Yeah, I go back down the next day to another blackjack table, and I lost that 100 and probably maybe.
I didn't know you lost that.
Yeah, I ended up breaking even for the week, so I was happy about that.
Hey, then you basically came out ahead if you broke even in my book.
Yeah, no, I can't complain about that. And that was my first time ever gambling, being in a casino, and playing actually any of those games. So.
Oh, then you did great.
Yeah. So I did phenomenal as far as I'm concerned.
I would like to be. We all were proud of him. That's the thing. But he comes back to the room And we're all like half asleep, and we're like, "Oh, how'd you do?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm up $150. How's the rest of everybody? Like, what about this other guy, Joe, that was with you? Oh, he's up like, what was he up, like $1,000 or something ridiculous?"
Yeah, he was awesome at it.
And I'm like, and we both heard that, and we're both like half asleep, and we're like, "The table's hot! What the hell are you doing? Get back down there!"
Yeah. He was also making much bigger bets than I was because he had more than
that's
me,
how it works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why he was up so much because he was losing a lot more than I was too at the same time. Like he'd play a hand and he'd win $300, and then the next hand he'd lose 200. And I'm like, I'm playing with 25 and 50 right now. Like,
yeah. See, I hate that feeling in my gut when I put too much down on the blackjack table, and it's like, ugh, I just lost $100. Oh, I lost $200. Hate that feeling.
Yeah,
I hate that because I work too hard. I like. That $20 you lose, in my eyes, is a half a tank of gas. And I'm sitting there going, like, that for me is like, I lost that in less time than I could have got with a million other things. So, like, for me, I always have hated gambling. Like, my ex-wife liked to gamble, and we'd go to the slot machines. I'm at the penny slots.
See?
You know, and that's it. And I'd have $20-$25. If I lose it, I lose it. She got so mad because on our anniversary, I hit one of those jackpot ones and got like a thing full of like change, $500. She took it all and used it for herself. I mean, happy anniversary. Glad we got divorced.
Women and their impulses.
I almost felt dirty when I put a $25 chip down on roulette and I won, and they handed me another chip, and I was like, this is like half a day's of work that I just won in like 10 seconds. I don't know how to feel about this. I don't feel like I've earned this. This is weird. Because I've always been work with my hands, work for what you want, a blue collar kind of like mindset, always on the grind. So when I was just like basically given that, I was like, ugh, this is weird. I like it, but I don't know how much I like it.
Well, that's good. If you continue to give it respect rather than being like the first time I went to Vegas, my mom took me when I was 21, and I of course started playing the dollar slots because I was an idiot, and then I won $500, and all of a sudden I'm like, this is so easy. Now I know why everyone comes to Las Vegas. And I'm like, okay, great drinks. I was playing in a country band back then, and I bought cowboy boots like a dork. And like, man, Vegas is easy. And then the next 20 times I went to Vegas, whether it was for fun or for work, I lost my ass. So Gavin, keep that respect, keep that healthy respect for gambling, because it can bite you in the ass for sure.
100. And that's in so many different ways, because in business, I'm sure you've established that, like, one wrong partner, one wrong employee that doesn't have the same vision it can screw you up so much, and it can like mess up everything you're doing. Give us some stories about being built. You've been an entrepreneur for 15 years, and you're telling us this, but give me a sad story. Something that made you learn something to get better, that you knew you needed to become a better leader. Because for all of us, everybody hears the business stories. I'm seeing you thinking, so I'm stalling for a second. But like, everybody has that story. Everybody has like, look, I had to learn X, Y, and Z about myself as an entrepreneur to get the best out of me. And you've done something that a lot of people use as like accreditation to be big, is like, oh, I've been on Shark Tank, but that's just one of your things. Your podcast has at least 3 viewers now, but like, you're growing. you look at life in a different way as an entrepreneur to help people, to get something different out there. How have you noticed this be a part of your life with hiring and firing and building the best mat?
Well, the main thing that I've learned about myself is that because I'm kind of an inventor. I've invented multiple products. I've done a couple of Kickstarters, one which failed, one which succeeded. I've taken products literally from the napkin on the bar to fully manufactured. And what I've discovered is that I am a terrible salesperson. And as soon as I get a product essentially ready to go and in boxes ready to sell, then I'm moved on to the next thing. So like a buddy of mine and I, we came up with this golf training system that was brilliant. And we spent like 4 years developing it, 4 years of like meeting like a couple of nights a week and sitting down and hiring back then we hired a videographer to shoot this golf pro doing these lessons. And we had all this, I mean, there was a ton of moving parts and it could really have improved somebody's golf game. And as soon as we got it manufactured, we spent 10 or so grand to get boxes and boxes of these products manufactured. It showed up. He took 20 boxes into his garage. I took 20 boxes into my garage, and they've sat there ever since, because then we started working on our next invention. Yeah. And so for me, that's been what has hobbled me the most in my entrepreneurial pursuits, is that, like Zig Ziglar says, nothing happens until the sale is made. And I am terrible about making the sale. And one of the reasons why I'm not a successful entrepreneur by anyone's definition is that I have not gone out and made the sale. I've been too busy in Santa's workshop, making products, building new businesses, doing that stuff, rather than nurturing the businesses that I've already created.
Yeah, but you've acknowledged this issue. You understand that you have it. You understand why you have it. Have you thought about, or how are you trying to fix it now? How are you trying to go about making sure that you don't do the same, or maybe you go back and start nurturing those other businesses again, make some sales, or maybe hiring somebody to be a sales rep? Like, what are you doing to fix this issue?
Honestly, I'm not. I understand that I am just not a good salesperson. But since I'm kind of coasting in life, I'm an old man, I'm coasting towards retirement. I kind of don't have to. So I'm just realizing that, hey, I got to do some really fun things. I got to invent a couple of cool products, some which could have maybe made me some money, some which might not have. And I'm just chalking that up to experience. But I tell any entrepreneur when they're, getting started, it's like, listen, you've got great ideas, but don't make the mistakes that I did. Make sure that once you reach that point where you have a product to sell, that it becomes your obsession to get that into the hands of other people, and have no shame about going door to door to businesses that might be able to sell your product. Have no shame about getting on the phone and calling people that might be able to buy your product, because that's the thing, is that most inventors that I talk to, and most product developers, most entrepreneurs, they're not salespeople, because the salespeople know that why waste all the time creating a product? I could go down to the local Hewlett Packard and sell printers and make 500 grand a year. If you're a good salesman, your ticket is punched for the rest of your life. So that's why salesmen don't invent stuff. But when I talk to inventors, it's like, get into that mindset where sales becomes your obsession once you have a whole product.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So as someone who can very much attest to how that is, I create my own products. I have 2 sitting around me. You just can't tell right now that I do stuff with. But getting out there, I've never been the salesman. I am always a creator, and I make something special, and then you put me out front to entertain that first time, and then let everybody else go do the sales, because I can't do that. Like you and I doing talking, I just over talk my sale all the time, and people catch that, and they're like, all right, like we need a different sales rep, and that's why for my companies, I don't sell. I have to have other people selling for me, because I cannot. I overdo it, and you bring me in for the entertainment, you bring me in for the knowledge base, you bring me in to be like, here's our boss. It's like bringing in some random person that refuses to wear a suit unless he has to. And I take over a room like that, like we just did in Vegas. I took over an entire conference hall.
Okay.
So like,
nice.
It's just like, that's just, I've known that's my personality and who I am. So hearing another entrepreneur say that is phenomenal, because a lot of entrepreneurs will just say, no, you suck it up, you do this, you do that. When sometimes it's not that. You have to look in the mirror and say, look, this is something this is not my talent, but that is. I need to find what can do this so I can keep going. And that's exactly, I love hearing that. But you had a couple good comments in here. You have the first, I feel special to be on the ground floor of Subs with Road Retirement Lounge podcasts. And in all honesty, this is Jessica Dugas. And Jessica is...
Hi, Jessica.
She's amazing. She has a show. She's usually our Tuesday guest, and is our regular reoccurring guest on Tuesdays because she brings a breakthrough moment of people's lives for when they broke through to being their best selves. And
nice.
She's not been feeling well. She got sick recently, but she even sent a message saying, Matt, I'd love to have you on my show. I will be reaching out after the show, smiley face. So you're already getting picked up to be on other shows, man.
Awesome. I can't wait.
An event coming up, right?
Matt, do you have an event coming up?
No, Jessica.
She does have an event, but it's in December. She's doing a charity concert digitally. So all these bands and all these information that people have been doing. Gavin, aren't you performing there?
I don't believe so. I've not been told that I'm performing. Am I performing?
Maybe you'll find out in November.
Yeah, I guess so.
In November.
Well, yeah, there's a couple artists TBA here to be announced. So
yeah, that one on the left looks like Gavin.
This is going to be fun.
Right here?
No, at the bottom. No, one of those. No,
that guy, that one. Yep, I'm gonna go. That's Gavin. Yep,
yeah.
That's Gavin. We both see it. That's all that matters, right?
Yep, absolutely.
She's just got a lot of great things happening, and you would be a perfect guest for her. And
cool.
Her show, and all that. So she commenting hasn't even left today. She usually goes take care. She has 75 kids. Not really. She has 6, but I always give her a higher number because
that's
6 is still. Right? I think 1 is too many. She has 6. I can't imagine what kind of I'm bald with no kids. Can you imagine how bald I'd be? My beard would be bald if I had kids. But so Matt, what has been some of your biggest accomplishments that you personally would say you're proud of through your entrepreneurial spirit?
Again, by anyone's definition, I'm a crappy entrepreneur because I tend to work up. I'm like a squirrel. I hide enough nuts to get me through the winter and then start over again next summer. And so, I mean, really, the biggest thing that I did was to get on Shark Tank. But I mean, the product is so stupid if you look at it. I don't have a lot of pride in the product. But I am proud of the process. The fact that we literally, I mean, it started when I do video production, and this company hired me to do editing on site. And it was a Fortune 500 company, and they had me do editing for 2 weeks in their building, basically. And they put me in a supply closet. So smaller than a jail cell, surrounded by dry erase markers and reams of paper and no window. And it was literally a 6x6 room. And I was stuck in there with no fresh air, editing for 8 or 9 hours a day. And so that was when I called up my buddy, and I was like, and this was when the ShamWow, do you guys remember the ShamWow?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that guy,
he's a bad entrepreneur.
Do you hate the ocean? Get it up with the ShamWow.
Yeah, but he was printing money. And so I called my buddy from this supply closet. I'm like, dude, I'm here looking at a blank wall, editing boring training video for a semiconductor company. We need to make an infomercial. That's going to be our ticket. And so he's like, well, okay. And he was in New York and I'm in Portland. And he said, well, I've got an idea for a kind of a thing to help you with your posture. And I was like, okay, book a flight to Chicago. Let's meet next weekend. Let's meet in Chicago. Which, by the way, is not halfway between. That was an easy flight for him and a long flight for me.
Yeah.
But we meet in Chicago. We sit there and with paper and beers and elastic, and we literally took nothing and created something. Came up with a name, bought the domain, bought the business license. I mean, we did all of that stuff that weekend. Yeah. And then I went back and started reaching out to Chinese manufacturers. There weren't Chinese manufacturers that we could find that created posture correctors, because we didn't even know that there were posture correctors. So I started getting in touch with belt manufacturers in Vietnam and China and Malaysia, and sending them this PDF, like, can you make a sample of this? And then, out of the 75 or so that I contacted, maybe 20 got back to me, and then 2 of them gave me samples, and 1 was a really good one. And then 9 months later, we're selling product. And so just really, really digging in and kicking ass on creating that product is probably my greatest accomplishment, just because I didn't know any of it. I didn't know how to find a manufacturer. I didn't know how to, go through the initial patent process and trademarking the
He froze.
and all that stuff. And if you don't know you can't do something, you probably can.
That I like that because you didn't let it get in the way. Like the minute China said they don't have anything like that, you could have easily been like, oh, well, we tried. That's the cheapest one we were going to get. And instead you're like, well, what about belt makers in these countries? And you don't, that's the difference. And that's what makes you a good entrepreneur in my eyes, is you didn't let one thing that got in your way be a hiccup. You turned around and said, no, there's other ways to do this. And it was on a product that you yourself are saying, I didn't really care for that one that much, but it still did it. Honestly,
Yep.
I love that. It shows that you're willing to go that extra mile for yourself, for your customers, all of it. I love it. Do you do investing now that you've been doing that stuff, or do you keep away from like investments and just do stock market, housing, and stuff like that?
Well, I'm pretty much out of the stock market altogether now.
Okay.
Just for a million reasons. And I got out. This is a great example of you can't time the market, and your dad and I would agree on this. I saw the bubble that we're in. If you look at PE ratios, I mean, it's insane, the valuation of companies today. We're in a repeat of what was going on in the 1999-2000 tech crash. It's the same thing, and it's mania. And then it's also fueled by the whole Robinhood thing and everything. But yeah, so I'm pretty much out of the stock market. But I got out like 3 years ago to get into real estate. And if I would have waited, I might have gotten a little bit better returns by staying, because the stock market's been on fire. Oh yeah. Hey, look at that. CBD. Buy CBD. Yes. But I slept better because my houses and the apartments and stuff like that I'm invested in are insurable assets, where if they burn down, the insurance company buys me a new one and pays me for the rent that I would have lost. Whereas if and when the stock market crashes, I can't insure against stock market losses. So
That's actually a very well put way of investing, because of the fact that we're told through our life, to retirement, you put money into the stock market, you did a 403b, you get a IRA, a Roth IRA, and all these things. You're taught these things, but the housing market is much more lucrative. Is it not?
Well, yeah, because I mean, not to dig into to housing too much, but see, the thing is if you go buy $100,000 worth of stock,
yes,
you have to give E-Trade $100,000. If you go buy a $100,000 house in Detroit, you only have to put $20,000 down. Okay. So if that house is appreciating at 7% a year, but you only put 20% down, it's appreciating 7 times 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're getting a 35% annual cash on cash appreciation. And that's why these gurus, there's some really smart people who say, housing only keeps up with inflation, or James Altucher, who's a great entrepreneur, but terrible at giving money advice. He tells people, don't invest in housing, because houses only appreciate on average at 7.4% per year, but the stock market average is 8%. And I'm like, you fucking dummy. There's my one.
You gave it.
Don't listen to that advice, because if you buy a house, you only have to put 20% down. So you're making 5x the overall appreciation, plus your renter is paying for the mortgage, and it's an insurable asset. So if it burns down, someone comes and replaces it. So there's some bad advice floating around there as relates to real estate, for sure.
As a entrepreneur, sorry, Kevin, if you have a question, just take it.
No,
I said 3 in a row. I'm sorry. We try to rotate. So, but like, as an entrepreneur, when you started investing in the housing, did you have to learn how to, like, I know the answer to this, but I'm asking because I have a feeling I know it. Did you get in there and get hands-on dirty for the first house when you got it, and like we're in there doing construction, so you knew what was going on, or did you hire people? I have an elaborate question a second question after that, by the way.
Okay, well, but I'm wondering what you would guess would be the answer to that question.
I think you hired people, but I think you did more research beginning of the house, so you knew you weren't buying a lemon. And that was what my second question was going to be, is if you're not getting your hands in there and dirty, how do you know whether you're buying a good property to a property that might have been just like somebody getting rid of really quick and you got the short end of the stick?
Okay, well, first off, yes, you were right. I did not. In fact, the first house I bought, I never even saw.
Wait, what?
I didn't.
Good job.
I'm sorry. I take it out. I didn't see the inside. I did drive by it, but bye, Mandy. But yeah. So no. I for my research, when I first decided I'm going to do this, I started listening to podcasts. You know, it sounds goofy, but there's a real estate podcast called the Bigger Pockets Podcast. And there's a website. It's called Bigger Pockets. Terrible name. I wish they would have named it something different. But anything you want to know about real estate, you can find at this website, Bigger Pockets. And they have little pro forma calculators so that if you find a house, you can put in all the numbers to figure out if it's going to cash flow. And they have a podcast. I listened to at least 100 episodes before I even started looking for a house. And reading books, reading real estate books and investing books. So I really spent a lot of time doing my due diligence first before I decided to go into it. And then touring properties. I have a buddy in Texas. I went down there and he has a couple of rental houses and I looked at his numbers. And so I filled my brain up with information, but then once I was ready, I bought my first place was in Cincinnati and I bought that, having not seen the inside of it.
How do you choose your locations? Because Detroit, Cincinnati, we're in Cleveland, and I know you're in Portland, Oregon.
Yep.
Really quick, I'm going to do a side question. How are things in Portland? Like the news kind of trailed off from all the riots and all that and the protests. Have things calmed down there? Just you live there. I trust your opinion more than just some random thing on the news.
Well, yes, the rioting has slowed down. Primarily, I think just because people got bored. But if you go downtown to downtown Portland, it is a toilet.
Is that where Chaz was?
Chaz was in Seattle.
Seattle, okay.
Yeah. And I have not been to Seattle since, since COVID.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's very similar to Portland. Downtown, it's boarded up. We have this, and I'm not into it, but we have this big kind of food cart culture where they have these parking lots with food trucks in them, roach coaches. Yeah. And it's like a thing where these restaurateurs can, with very low capital expenditures, start a restaurant. And in a safe, basically in these food pods is what they call them. And it's like a thing. I don't like it because I like running water, hot running water, places to wash my hands, indoor plumbing and all that. I get skeeged out by these food trucks, but it's a thing here. Well, now in these downtown pods, because it's so dangerous to be downtown because the unfettered our drug addicted homeless population down there, and nothing against them. I understand that sometimes you got to put a spike in your arm and you need the comfort, and it is what it is. But it's so dangerous now. These food carts are either having to close like at 6 o'clock, or they're just having to go out of business and shut down because they're getting broken into so much by these. Really? Yeah. I mean, wow. You cannot go one block in Portland now without seeing a tent on the city street. There are city councils, and again, I know that there are among our homeless Gavin, I appreciate you asking. Sorry, I'm kind of semi-passionate about this because we have made this our city. We have welcomed by providing free needles, free crack pipes. Back when they used to have needle exchanges, it was because we were trying to stop the spread of AIDS, which made sense. It's like, don't share needles. Now we give our junkies needles as a public service to them, and we also give them crack pipes. Nobody ever got AIDS from sharing a crack pipe, but yet we're doing these facilitation. And in Seattle, they have, at the risk of getting gross, these ways to anally provide yourself with your heroin. And I don't know what the system is, but the city council, your taxpayer dollar goes to pay to facilitate this opioid crisis.
Do you think it's all gotten so bad there that at this point they're saying, you know what, let's provide them as much of these drugs as we can and just let them kill themselves out, and then we'll restart after the carnage has died down?
Well, I think that there are some people that's kind of their silent hope, but we've also decriminalized drugs here too. So it's like you can carry, and I drove downtown to go to the post office a couple weeks ago, and I saw 3 drug deals like out. I mean, I used to sell dope. I know what a drug deal looks like. I just driving down out in the open on the street. And so we've decriminalized it. So now more people are coming to Portland. And like I mentioned in one of my podcasts, if you live in Boise, Idaho, and you're addicted to meth, you know that if you get caught with a gram or more, you're going to go to jail. Yeah. But you know that if you have less than like a half an ounce here in Portland, you're going to be fine. So where are you going to go? You're going to come to Portland. And we're creating this snowball vicious circle feedback loop of drug addiction and homelessness that's totally destroying our city. And it's not just downtown. The other day I was out in the suburbs, 9 miles out of town, going on a freeway off ramp, and there's a homeless camp right on the other side of the off ramp. And this dude was walking out of the homeless camp with a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire. I've never seen in my life, I'm 52 years old, I've never seen a dude walking around with a baseball bat wrapped with barbed wire except in Mad Max movies. And this dude was coming out of his homeless camp ready for action. And we just continue to facilitate it. So that's the long answer, Gavin. Sorry. Portland Portland is circling the bowl, and it's frightening to watch. And nobody in our city power, in our power structure is admitting to it. They're all.
How long have you been in Portland? You don't mind me asking?
This current time, I've been here continually since 1996. And then before that, I lived here for a couple of years in college, and then then 5 years when I was like in junior high. So I've seen Portland. I first moved here in 1979. So I've seen it go from a cool town, a really cool town with like back when it was really weird to have coffee shops that were open past 4 PM, and a thriving jazz scene. And I've seen it go from having just everything that you could want in a town and reasonably priced and everything to being a war zone.
It almost makes me wonder, and this is complete like conspiracy, if like the federal government is working with the government just there in Portland and letting it go from that amazing scene and saying, all right, let's make an example of them. Let's give them all these drugs. Let's do them this side. Let them do whatever they want, and let it go to complete shit and chaos and anarchy. So that way we can re-spark the war on drugs and make everything illegal again. Just go across country and say, look at this. Look what happened. We gave them exactly what you wanted. And the way they went about it, they knew that it was going to fail and turn to chaos.
Well, Gavin, I could totally see that if we had a Republican administration in place, because Republicans in general are more of a law and order type of a pulpit. Yes. But we have, and if some of the policies were coming up from a federal level, most of the policies that are killing us have been voted on locally. I mean, we as Oregonians voted to decriminalize drugs. We were fine with that. We were like, make it, we don't want to keep oppressing the drug addicted. We want to make sure that they can have drugs and not have to go to jail for it. Right. So it's not a top down thing. It's definitely a bottom up. And we continue to keep electing these. We have a city councilor who believes that we don't have a gang problem and will not on record say that we have a gang problem, even though when we they defunded our gang enforcement task force, the murder rate doubled like immediately in the summer. Just it doubled when we stopped gang enforcement. So but yet we have city councilors who refuse to admit that the problem exists. It's like they're gaslighting us and we're gaslighting each other. It's really, really weird. So
that sounds like that.
So be glad that you live in the Midwest and where there's, a little bit more of a semblance of sanity.
Yeah.
A little bit. But honestly, when Portland did this, when Oregon legalized it, it was because there was that you wanted that to be there, but the systems they were going to have in place was supposed to be more regulated, I thought, where they were going to be able to okay, you can get your drugs, but it's going to be in like a system like they do in Denmark or the Netherlands, where if you have a heroin addiction, you come in and you almost go to like a heroin hospital and just get hooked up and go and get your that way you don't overdose and you know how much you're getting and you're getting something that's registered and all that. It's like somebody going to the bar. Right. They kind of legalized it and then said, okay, have fun. Is that how? That's just my interpretation.
Yeah, this was not. It didn't have systems in place. The only thing that it really kind of
bless you.
I guess the only, I guess, consolation on the other side of the addiction problem is that we were going to be routing other funds into rehabilitation programs. And so we were essentially, it was simply we are decriminalizing possession of Schedule I super drugs up to a certain amount. And that was it. There were no, and what you're saying, the kind of the Amsterdam model where, if you had to go in, it would take the profit motive out. Yeah. If you had to go in and get it from a licensed dispensary. But what we've done is by decriminalizing it. And as an entrepreneur, we all know that, oh, hey, now that I'm not risking going to jail, I can go buy it cheap and sell it. And as long as I'm not carrying X number of quantity. And so what they've done is they've made the problem worse, but now the dealers aren't going to jail.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man, that's tough. Just out of curiosity, how do you keep your energy in a positive mindset from everything going on around you like that? Because that could wear on somebody quickly.
Well, the first thing I did is last March, I sold my house that was in Portland proper, and moved to a southern suburb of town with my girlfriend. And so I'm living with her now, and there is enough insulation between this safe, serene, low crime suburb and Portland, or at least there is for probably at least the next 5 years or so, that I am insulated from the insanity and I don't have to go downtown very much. And not witnessing it in person, it's kind of an out of sight, out of mind situation.
Heard. That makes sense.
So yeah, it's just, but the thing is, and again, they put these policies in place so as to protect what they call disadvantaged or disenfranchised communities, people who are in economic straits where they can't move, essentially. Yeah. And what they're doing is the people who are stuck there, these disadvantaged communities, are the ones bearing the brunt of the crime problem. These are the guys where their cars, the catalytic converters, are getting stolen at a rate that you can't even imagine, because there's a little bit of cadmium and palladium in a catalytic converter. So these meth addicted zombies can steal your catalytic converter and go and sell it for $100 at the metal shop. And then these people who are working for low wages can't get to work, and or their kids are stepping on needles at their soccer games in the park. So the people who are they're really trying to protect are the people who are getting screwed by these policies. It's brutal, and it makes me want to scream. But what do you do? You can't.
You be you and keep building the best mat that you can, because you, like you said, you and your girl. Go ahead, Gavin. I'm sorry, buddy. I talked a lot this episode.
No, you're good. We're just we're getting up to the end of the episode here. And so I was getting ready to wrap it up. One of the things that we like to do at the end of each episode, Matt, is we go around and we give either, sometimes like a fortune cookie, kind of positive, a little bit of wisdom, last piece of advice, just a last word overall that you would like to leave the audience with. I'm going to go ahead and I will have. He's looking at me. I'm making a decision right now. I'm going to have Brandon go first because he had something he wanted to say there real quick. So I'll make sure I'll have Brandon go first, and then I will take us, and then you as the guest will have the last word of the day.
So this is how it's pretty simple, guys. We're near the end of it. It's only Tuesday, and we've had some amazing guests this week. Matt not just only created a product and was on Shark Tank, which makes him cool, but like he came on here and brought a wealth of knowledge and a perspective that opens minds with a conversation. So take today and look inside yourself and see what your inner maybe entrepreneur to inner love of yourself is looking for, because to see your talents like Matt did, and he's like, I'm a creator, I'm not a salesman, I'm an inventor, I can't think of a great like rebuttal back to that. But at the end of the day, Matt saw his talents and he used them and was able to get the best out of himself. Do that for yourself today and look deep inside, because the only way you do that is looking up to others and looking deep inside yourself.
So today's episode has definitely been interesting, from talking about interesting dates that we did and did not know that we were on, to talking about Portland being on fire, to investments and selling BDSM equipment to Shark Tank, or the back straightening. That's what it was. Sorry about that. Life's unpredictable, just like a live show. You never really know what's going to happen. Sometimes you're eating cake, and sometimes there's a bunch of people doing heroin in your neighborhood. Like but the point of it is Matt has been able to take his life and not only be very successful, but shave off approximately 10 years till he's able to retire, despite being in all these different places, having these different struggles, being self-aware of the issues that he does have, and being able to overcome some and decide that he didn't have to take care of other ones. He's still been able to get where he is because he was persistent, because he had a goal and he kept going, he kept pushing with it. And that's really what it comes down to. It's how bad do you want something? Because I promise you, there's always somebody who wants it more. There's always a bigger, badder person out there. That being said, they might not have as much willpower as you. If you have that willpower to be able to continue and push through the bullshit, to continue and not be distracted by the world that is going around you, no matter how desirable or lack thereof it may be, then you can be successful and you can reach whatever goal it is that you were trying to achieve.
I think that when people ask me about starting businesses and how to invent a product and where do I get started, I hear that all the time. Like, where do I start? And the easiest thing I can say is that, first of all, you have at your disposal in the year 2021 absolutely everything that you need in order to be successful as an entrepreneur, or as anything, as a parent, as a partner, as a salesperson, like I'm not. And we live in an age of absolute miracles where the entire planet's collected knowledge is literally on your laptop, and you have everything you need. And the only barrier that you have between where you currently are and where you want to be is yourself. And that is really hard for people to understand these days, because we get this myopic perspective based on where we currently are. And we are so comfortable. We live so high on Maslow's hierarchy right now, all of us, that our level of comfort makes us kind of sometimes walk around in circles. And I just would recommend that for anyone, having some perspective of how great you have it oftentimes will give you the nudge that you need. And one thing that you might consider doing is look at the way some of your friends in Lima, Peru are living, or look at the way in New Delhi, India. There are people who are so unbelievably poor and who have literally nothing and are eating out of, and this sounds like a cliche, but they're eating out of garbage dumps. You have everything you need. You have been blessed with the geographic lottery to live wherever you are. If you can see this webcast, and any limitations that you have, anything holding you back was probably created in your brain, and you can jump past that, and all the tools that you need in order to be successful, in order to be happy, in order to be good at what you want to do. All those tools are just like clicks away. So take advantage of the fact that you live in an age of absolute miracles.
Love that. Wow. Very well said. Matt, if you want to stick around after the show, Gavin and I just do a quick thank you and all that. But ladies and gentlemen, this was Java Delight, and we are really honored that you guys came out to watch. We're very grateful that Matt came on the show today. Do us a favor. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this episode. But also do not forget to go subscribe to Matt's podcast. It is Rogue Retirement Lounge Podcast, and make sure you get every one of your friends there. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.